Now at 5, authorities in Parsons arrest a suspect after finding illegal drugs in a business. Plus, the Lafayette House in Joplin receives a grant from the Ozarks Food Harvest. And
President Biden issues the first ever executive order for artificial intelligence. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House with the sweeping measure establishing some oversight for the rapidly evolving technology.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities in Independence, Kansas are investigating a deadly shooting. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The shooting happened this morning in the 1100 block of West Cedar. When officers arrived, they found 37-year-old Jason York of Independence with a gunshot wound. He died at the scene. The police have not yet made any arrests in this case. Authorities have filed new charges after Labette County Sheriff's Office seized narcotics while executing a search warrant at a tobacco shop in Parsons, Kansas. Authorities executed 3 warrants at the tobacco store called Hashtag and at 2 homes nearby. Law officers seized about 9 pounds of marijuana, 4 ounces of methamphetamine, 2 grams of suspected fentanyl, and $18,000 cash. The 3 warrants were issued after an 8-month investigation by the Sheriff's Office. Authorities arrested Dorian L. Allen during that search. They've charged him with distribution of a controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia distributed within 1,000 feet of a school, and other crimes.
You know, our community is pretty good about relaying information to us and giving us heads up on those kind of things. So, we're, very glad we have the community we have.
The Labette County Sheriff's Office worked with the Parsons Police Department and the Kansas Department of Revenue on this case. Joplin's Lafayette House gets a grant courtesy of the Ozark Food Harvest. It's a portion of a $1 million investment Ozark Food Harvest is making in 70 organizations to relieve hunger in southwest Missouri. The Lafayette House helps provide a safe haven for survivors of domestic abuse. This grant will allow the house to buy a new refrigerator, increasing its capacity to feed families in need. Lafayette House officials say their current unit is more than 20 years old and recently quit working. Organizers today announced the theme for this year's Christmas parade, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. Freeman Health System and the City of Joplin also unveiled this year's emblem, which features a smiling snowman sitting next to a Christmas green electric guitar. Freeman has managed the Joplin Christmas Parade since 2014. Officials say the partnership has been beneficial for all sides.
Every parade is a little different because we have a different theme and the different ways the creative juices flow. There was that one year when we didn't get to have it because of COVID, so I think that gives everyone a renewed appreciation for the parade, the ability to all gather together and just enjoy a night of magic and joy.
Money raised from the parade benefits the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. The parade is scheduled for Tuesday, December 5th. Well, the blue skies make it look warmer than it actually is out there. Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, after we had the dreary weekend, the very cold temperatures all weekend long, sunshine returned today, but our temperatures, they still stayed pretty much on the chilly side. It's 42 in Joplin, 41 in Pittsburgh, but you can see we have the sunny skies across the region. The light northerly wind, 41 in Stockton, Miami at 43. Chanute is sitting at about 45 degrees. So it's chilly. We should be into the mid 60s, but our storm system that gave us the clouds, the rain over the weekend, heading away from us. So we look okay. We just have to deal with the much colder temperatures, and we aren't alone across the entire Central Plains. It's a little breezy as well. We have those northerly winds at about 5 to 10. Through the evening hours, we slide quickly back into the 20s. Another hard freeze for us tonight. We're going to look at your Halloween here in a bit.
See you in a few. President Biden is taking steps to try to ensure that new artificial intelligence programs do not pose risks to Americans. But the president is limited on what he can do without help from Congress. Skyler Henry has more details now from the White House.
Executive order, safe, secure, and trustworthy development of the use of artificial intelligence.
President Biden signed an executive order Monday designed to strengthen protections for Americans as the use of artificial intelligence continues to grow.
One thing is clear. To realize the promise of AI and avoid the risk, we need to govern this technology.
Among the features in the order is a requirement that some AI developers perform safety tests on their systems and share the results of those tests with the government before they're deployed. It also creates an advanced cybersecurity program to detect vulnerabilities in software systems and a national security memo on the military's use of AI, as well as how adversaries are using the technology.
I'm directing the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security, both of them, to develop game-changing cyber protections that will make our computers and our critical infrastructure more secure than it is today.
President Biden has been working with world leaders to establish global standards for AI's use and to counter AI programs being developed and deployed by China.
The order is about making sure that AI systems can earn the American people's trust, the people's trust around the world.
The executive order also urges Congress to pass data privacy legislation to protect all Americans, especially kids. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is working with a bipartisan group of lawmakers focused on crafting AI legislation. The Senate's also expected to host a pair of AI forums this week. Israel Defense Forces say they've expanded their ground operation inside Gaza today, destroying anti-tank missile launchers and killing 4 prominent Hamas operatives. The stepped-up ground incursion follows additional airstrikes, causing large numbers of Palestinian civilian casualties, according to Hamas officials. Israel has vowed to destroy Hamas after the terror group attacked Israeli border towns and a music festival earlier this month, killing more than 1,000 people and taking more than 200 hostages. Still ahead, spooky spending.
Halloween may set a new record this year with more Americans getting in on the celebration. I'm Bradley Blackburn with how spending could scream to an all-time high.
But first, breast cancer is on the rise among younger women. One woman talks about her struggle next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, there's a new dominant COVID-19 subvariant in the U.S. The CDC says HV1, part of the Omicron strain, is responsible for more than 1 in 4 nationwide cases and nearly a third of all cases in the Mid-Atlantic region. Medical experts believe the current updated COVID vaccines are effective against HV1. Intermittent fasting is safe and effective for people with type 2 diabetes. Researchers at the University of Illinois Chicago say trial participants who ate only between noon and 8 p.m. lost more weight compared to another group that were instructed to reduce their calorie intake by 25%. Both groups had similar drops in long-term blood sugar levels. October, as you know, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. There's been an alarming rise in breast cancer cases among women under the age of 50. A recent study shows an almost 8% increase in diagnosed cases over the 10 years to 2019. Christina Raffini spoke with a 38-year-old woman who had a shocking diagnosis and how it nearly went undetected.
Do you see any birds right now?
Stephanie Gerard is many things. A grad student,
Down came the rain.
a mother, a new homeowner.
What was a bigger shock to the system, the actual chemo or the fact that you were having to have it at 38?
I think probably having to have it at 38.
Now, she's also a woman with cancer.
You look in the mirror and you're like so sad and so depressed that you're losing your hair. And then on the flip side, you're like, what is hair? Who cares? All I care about is life. I want to live. I want to watch my daughter grow up.
Gerard has a family history of breast cancer and a genetic mutation that puts her at higher risk. For more than a year, she says she also had persistent pain in her left armpit and breasts. Doctors ran annual sonograms, even a breast MRI, but found nothing.
They always said, you don't need a mammogram until 40. No mammogram, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. They've said it's normal. My doctor said cancer doesn't hurt.
In May, she saw a new doctor who ordered a mammogram, which came back positive for low-stage breast cancer.
If you feel like you're being dismissed, bring a family member, bring a friend whose entire job is to advocate for you, to say, you know, hold on.
So you needed the mammogram.
So you needed the mammogram.
She also needed a double mastectomy. Following the procedure and subsequent tissue testing, Gerard's cancer was upgraded to stage 2 ductal carcinoma. She now needs chemo and radiation.
If there is something in the back of your mind telling you this is not right, then you have to push for it any way that you can get that test.
Whatever it takes, she says, to be around to watch your kids grow up.
Christina Ruffini, CBS News.
Stephanie's going to get her third round of chemo next week. Her doctors will rescan her in a couple of months to see how the treatment worked. She says she's hopeful and looking forward to spending the holidays with her family and is also excited to get back to grad school in January. The Biden administration is urging schools to keep medication on hand that can reverse opioid overdoses. In a letter to educators today, White House officials said every school across the U.S. should stock Naxaline nasal spray, also known as Narcan, and faculty and students should be trained to use it. The missive comes amid a nationwide rise in overdose deaths among adolescents. Over the past 2 decades, more than 5,000 children and teens have died from overdoses involving fentanyl. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, big news in the UAW strike.
Plus another cold night for us tonight, and we'll look at your Halloween coming up next. Well, of course, we got the sunshine outside today, but much colder temperatures compared to really what we've seen in many months across the region. If we look back at October so far, you can see most of last week, we're in the upper 70s all the way until Friday. And then, of course, on Friday, cold front rolled through. We were only 47. Saturday, 40 yesterday, 42 today. So last 3 days have been below normal, but we're going to slowly warm up as we go through the week. Look at the lows this morning. Our first hard freeze, 26, Stockton, 28, Neosho down 31 in Miami, Chanute dipped back to 28 degrees. We did warm, lower 40s, which is almost 25 degrees below where we should be, but lower 40s for highs, and now most of us upper 30s to lower 40s across it right now. Temperatures, they're going to dip off once again as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Nice shot downtown Joplin, our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, Tower Cam. We are looking off toward the northeast, but it looks pretty good. We have clear skies. It's just chilly. We have freeze warnings again tonight. Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas, you don't because you already had your hard freeze last night. Clear skies currently outside 42, but it feels like 36 with that northerly wind at about 5 to 15, which is kicking in. These are going to briefly switch to the southwest tonight, and then another little front is going to drop through tomorrow, keeping us with the northerly winds as we go into tomorrow afternoon. So with the wind, it makes it feel colder. It makes it feel like 33 in Mount Vernon, 39 in Veneta, 37 in Iola. Through the evening, slipping back through the 30s, down to 28 by midnight. So an extended period of time once again tonight that we're going to have those temperatures below zero. But we do have clear skies. The storm system that gave us the rain, it's out of here. And if we look out toward the west, there's not a whole bunch going on. Here's our little weak wave that slides through tomorrow, gives us another little cold front, but there's no big storm systems heading in our direction over the next several days. All right, let me take you through time tonight. I'm going to stop tomorrow morning, mid-20s. Cold start, plenty of sunshine tomorrow. We have that northerly wind coming out about 10 to 15. Upper 30s by the noon hour. As we go into the afternoon, very similar to what we have seen today, about 41, 42 degrees for afternoon highs. And then look at this, we'll move to 8:30 tomorrow evening, dropping back near 30 degrees. Of course, tomorrow is Halloween. So at 7 a.m., 28, only 36 by noon, 40 by 4 p.m. I think a high temp right around 42 degrees. And of course, if you're heading out tomorrow evening, at least we're going to be dry, but you're going to want to bundle up. 37 by 5, 30 by 7, down to 27 by 9 p.m. So it's going to be a chilly night across the region. All right, here's your 7-day, 10-day forecast. 43 tomorrow, 49 on Wednesday. Dry all week long. We do have a slow warming trend, 65 by Friday. Some showers moving in by the weekend and also early next week, but pretty good stretch of fall weather. A little bit cooler than I'd like it, but not bad for the next couple days.
It's odd, isn't it, that sunshine corresponds with the cooler temperatures and it gets cloudy, but it warms up.
There you go.
There you go. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, Missouri's student loan provider is being fined for sending late statements. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the United Auto Workers Union says it's reached a tentative contract with General Motors, the last of the Detroit 3 automakers to agree to a deal. Under the deal, workers at all three companies will return to the job pending votes on whether to ratify the contracts, which will take place over the next 2 weeks. The GM deal follows tentative agreements union negotiators reached with Ford on Wednesday and Jeep maker Stellantis on Saturday. The main provisions of the deals are largely the same at all three automakers. Good news for your wallet. Gas prices continue to fall. According to AAA, the average price for a gallon of regular gas was $3.50 yesterday. Gas is typically cheaper in the fall, and AAA says prices are following a familiar pattern. They'll continue to drop, they expect, as we head closer to the holidays, but the war between Israel and Hamas could change things. If the war grows into a broader regional conflict, it could eventually encompass major oil producers. Americans are making some last-minute purchases for Halloween. Bradley Blackburn has details.
Clarissa Calderon is helping her daughter find a costume and has 3 other kids at home to buy for.
Have you always been into Halloween, or is it?
I have.
It seems a lot of people are into Halloween this year. The National Retail Federation says spending on the holiday will top $12 billion, with individual shoppers shelling out an average of $108.
What's this? These are some of our big animatronics we have.
Party City's Luke Willig says more people are buying expensive decorations. Plus, millennials and other grown-ups are still dressing up, sometimes with multiple costumes.
The social media really defines on what millennials, what they want to dress up as for Halloween.
It's not just humans who are getting into the spirit. Spending on pet costumes could top $700 million this year. Pumpkin costumes are expected to be the most popular for pets. Spider-Man is #1 for kids. 9-year-old Giselle is going as a zombie.
Is your favorite part of Halloween dressing up or the candy?
The candy. That's the best part. And that's the dentist's favorite part.
If fear of the dentist doesn't scare you, prices for some sweets might. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says candy is up 7.5% from a year ago.
It's worth it, I think so. Kids get big quick.
For many parents, having the chance to savor this tradition is priceless. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
The National Retail Federation says discount stores are the top destination for Halloween items, followed by specialty stores and online. The Department of Education is fining one of the country's largest student loan servicers for sending late statements to borrowers. The U.S. Department of Education says MOHELA, or the Missouri Higher Education Loan Authority, failed to send timely statements to 2.5 million borrowers. That delay caused more than 800,000 people to be delinquent on their loans. The Education Department is now withholding a $7.2 million October payment to MOHELA. A final check with the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, how the Biden administration is cracking down on anti-Semitism on college campuses. Then on KOIM News at 6, why the Springfield Police Department is cracking down on speeding inside the city. Plus, Carthage Elementary students go to the science lab to dissect a pumpkin. Yeah, and the Division II college football regional rankings are out. We're going to see where Pitt State landed. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOIM News at 6. Plenty of sunshine, but despite that, the temperature is still pretty chilly out there.
Yeah, and it's going to be cold tonight. We're going to drop back mid-20s once again. Sunshine pretty much all week long. A slow warming trend. 43 tomorrow, down to 22 tomorrow night. So that will be our coldest night of the week. 49 on Wednesday, back to 58 on Thursday.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we're going to be right back here for KOIM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.